Hey everybody, welcome to another graduation. It is the 21st I.G.N.I.T.E ceremony since we started September 8, 2020. Isn't that exciting? Boom! Yeah, man. We got family, we've got friends, we've got partners here, but this is a time to celebrate those that are graduating. We have those that are getting the GED, those that are getting their welding certificates, and also our Serve Safe program through Aramark. We've got a number of graduates, so if you would rise to your feet and welcome them, ladies and gentlemen, the class of the 21st I.G.N.I.T.E graduation. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Come on now. Come on, this is like church. You all find out, Leon. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I tell you, it's an honor and it's a privilege every single time. As the sheriff of this county, Chris Swanson, I got to give my first act of recognition to the staff. From the undersheriff to the major to the captains, lieutenants, the sergeants, to the deps, to the I.G.N.I.T.E team, those that are standing all around to make sure that you're taken care of, make sure the jail's safe, but also that there's hospitality here. All those that are in the back, the DB, don't think that I ever forget the good work that you do to make this place go. I've said before when I became the sheriff, just trust the vision. Trust it. I may not even have all the answers as to where and how we're going to get there, but I know what we're going to do. And you see it today. I also am going to address the graduates here shortly. But before I do, we couldn't be here without the partners. Could not do it. And when you look at change in this world, in this culture, and what we need to do, it takes more than just one sheriff, one organization, one company, one parent. It takes all of us. Because if we don't all go in the same direction, then we get what we've been getting for over 200 years in corrections across this country. You need sheriffs like Sheriff Carpenter, who's here with his team from Utah. Woo-hoo! You need him. And when you see that his service mentality was forged as a United States Marine, when you see people go serve their country and then be called up to serve the county, that's the guy that we need to keep this momentum going. But I'm going to tell you, it doesn't end that. And this is a journey that will never end. It's a marathon with no finish line, because we got to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and find more partners and more folks, because if we give folks incarcerated the ability to never come back, everybody wins. Everybody wins. And what I realized as a researcher long ago in this field is that when folks don't have value, when they don't have hope, that is the most dangerous, loneliest place to be. And I get it. I've been given a second chance. Throughout my life, I can picture the people's faces that gave Swanson a second chance. We've all had them. And that's what I.G.N.I.T.E does. It gives them a second opportunity to reevaluate where they've come from and where they want to go. You're going to see individuals that are in maroon. That is our I.G.N.I.T.E University gear. Those are folks that made an additional commitment to say, I want to do more than just get what we've been getting in an education basis. We have our cheer section out there that I call the next generation that's coming up. I.G.N.I.T.E is simply giving people an opportunity to get educated on the basic level, from GED, which we got one today, all the way up to what is it you want to do? Do you want to be a truck driver when you leave? You want to cut hair, own your own barbershop, own your own hotel? You want to own your own kitchen? You want to go own your own shop? You want to weld? You want to be a doctor? You want to go back to law school? I don't care. But I.G.N.I.T.E is that inmate growth naturally and intentionally through education, built on a meritocracy. If you do your part, you get to have a commencement, and you get to have folks that have traveled here to see you. You become the beacon of hope for people who don't have it right now. To an inmate in Iron County, Utah, that's watching right now, that's what you get to do. Now, we could go back to the way it used to be, build a Thunderdome and let everybody fight it out. But that's not what this county has established 3 years ago. When George Floyd was murdered, we made a commitment on the parking lot on May 30th, 2020 to be a change agent. And our media friends back there have followed this journey every single step of the way. Those that have documented and chronicled this, the stories and the testimonies that you're going to be able to share with people today after what you've seen, that's what's going to keep this momentum going. You're going to have people who are going to try to figure out why is that it won't work. I don't listen to them. I listen to Frederick Douglass, the most photographed individual of the 1800s, even more than Abraham Lincoln. Frederick Douglass, who was taken from slavery, became an abolitionist, a voice for hope. He said, I want people to know that I will work with anybody who desires unity, but I have no interest in somebody who desires division. And that's what this jail stands for. I don't send a single letter to the courts. I don't advocate for their cases. That's not my business. I want people who have a desire to share with their families, Mom, Dad, baby, I'm going to do something different. Coming into jail was maybe the best thing for me because when I leave, I'm better. When you got people like Shane Jackson and you got people that are joining us that are teaching people how to eat better and they're calling people from the outside saying, hey, get this, get this, get this. And you're seeing people change the way they eat. That's a bare necessity. When you're giving people financial education, like my man Galloway's there from Elga. Elga says, hey, if people don't understand how to do their finances, how do you expect them to go back into the world and try to build a business? We've got folks that have never understood what an asset and liability is and what a deposit is and what a withdrawal is. And you don't have to bank at a party store. There's real banks out there. And you get to invest your money and become wealthy by your hard work. Our friends from Mott Community College, our friends from the UAW, the building trades, our friends from the Urban Alliance, our friends from Nation Outside. These are the folks that are here. We have folks from the National Sheriff Association, Danny Hourani, who's on the board for I.G.N.I.T.E nationwide. Nationwide. And you don't get to be on the board nationwide to be an advocate for I.G.N.I.T.E if you haven't put in your time. And I'm not just talking time in the world. I'm talking time. Danny Hourani is a returning citizen. He's got 28 years. 28 years locked up. And man, he is, you're going to hear from him. He's got a testimony of what he just did last week that should be the hope picture for all of us. Our friends from Monroe Schools, Michie, the superintendent, her staff, those that are in gowns right now, you have been with us from the beginning. You have had the GED program, and a lot of sheriffs do, Sheriff, but we got GEDs. But the I.G.N.I.T.E umbrella is something that everybody gets to go and walk the same path and now have education that is limitless. And it's not just Mott Community College, it's not just Mount Morris, it's people like Percy Glover, who is championed voting and teaching people how to register and the fact that you have a right, a duty to hear and to be heard. You have a duty to exercise your ability to vote. Percy Glover has traveled the state, and as he is the icon of what it looks like to give people the education to register. In this very room, we have voting booths. We got folks that come in here that are in the 30s and 40s that have never voted. They leave in tears because we have seen people shed their blood like Marines and soldiers and airmen and seamen and Coast Guard protectors that have fought for the right for us to do the things we do. That's the kind of things that we teach in I.G.N.I.T.E. But it's not just them. It's our private partners too. Moms Demand Action. We have attorneys, Attorney Young. Again, I talked to our friends from Kalamazoo that are here all the way from Urban Alliance. We got people from Aramark that have joined with us and said, hey, we're going to teach people how to serve safe in order for them to go and take that certification and go and start at any restaurant in the country through this multi-week training that Aramark is with us on. And over, we see people that want to be a part of this. But there's a keynote speaker that you're going to meet in a minute that he's got an incredible story. And he gets paid top dollar to give keynote speeches. But I'm going to tell you, in 3 years, we haven't paid a dime because I want people to have the heart to come speak to folks, not make it a business transaction. I'm looking for transformations to take your testimony, my brother, and share with the world so people know that you may be locked up for a quarter century, but that doesn't kill your spirit. And you're going to hear from him. You're going to hear how a white teacher from Mott Community College can sit down and teach welding skills to people that don't look like him, live where he grew up. And that's you, brother. See, because unity doesn't have a look. Unity doesn't have a party. Unity doesn't have a geographical location. It doesn't have a behind the bars or in front of the bars. Unity is people coming together on common ground for civil discord in order to change their life. And that's what Ignite is. It's the fire that ignites. I got to tell you, we celebrated our 3-year anniversary last Friday. And I had a time in my office, if you ever go see it, it has an opportunity to look out into the outside of the jail. And I saw the team set up so beautifully, the Ignite team, and, watching, Mercer and Doman and Robertson and Noah set up this backdrop to join with Rise, which is the wraparound service that we now have launched, which we didn't have in the beginning. It took 3 years, Sheriff. Stay the course, baby. 3 years to figure out at 12:01, what do you do when they go out? Well, you just build it and they will come, and that's what Rise did. Thank you, Rise. And as I'm watching this whole thing, I'm realizing how big Ignite is. How you have sheriffs now in Sandusky, Ohio, Roanoke County, Virginia, Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, Collin County, Texas, Pennington County, South Dakota, Cass County, North Dakota, Hennepin County, Minnesota. We've got 3 more launches. One's going to be with our friends in Utah. We have Idaho, New York. I'll go in January to launch the entire state of New Mexico. The entire state. And I don't normally do this. I know. I don't normally do this, but I want you to know, you're going to see if somebody freaks out about how this is a partisan issue. In this room, you got a Democratic sheriff and a Republican sheriff that are coming together to make sure that this message is carried throughout the country. And that's that sheriff that I told you about, Sheriff Carpenter. He's a good man with a good heart. And his lieutenant and his sergeants, I asked him yesterday in my office, I said, tell me why you came here. It's because they know that we could do better. And sheriffs have such an impact to the community. And if you have the right heart, you have the ability to change history. And Dr. Crane, that's what we're doing. Stay the course. I know this is your first time, but I challenge you. I said, it's going to change your life. He said, let my life be changed. And we just got started. Let me tell you the stats in Genesee County, because it couldn't happen without the sheriff's office. At the time, it was Captain Jason Gould, who I sat down with in 2019. I said, listen, I think I'm going to be the sheriff, because I planned on it since I was 18 years old. I stayed the course, man. I said, and when we get here, I want to change the way we do jails. It's called education. I didn't even know the acronym at the time. Todd Lanning came up with the acronym IGNITE, but we just knew the concept. And I saw his eyes start to roll. And I said, we're going to school 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, an hour before lunch, an hour before dinner. I want to build it out. I want to have a university. I want to build out a meritocracy. So if they do a course, they get a pop and a bag of chips, and maybe do a commencement. They get to hug their families and kiss their babies. You know what that felt like when you kissed your baby, didn't you? You know what that felt like. That human touch, that somebody from the outside gets to see the transformation. And it took a minute. And the staff, they had to turn, and we had to prove ourselves. And when you have ambassadors like John L. and Percy that are out there just saying, hey, we've got to figure out how to do this. And you're getting some bad raps on the outside, and so am I. But just, we know the course. Stay the course. We just logged 227,939 teaching hours in this jail alone. Can you believe that? We've had almost 3,000 Ignite students come through in just 3 years. These are individuals that have just flourished. Chris Goetz from WGS, God bless your dad, I'll always give him recognition. He was one of the first ones on board. Chris Goetz, who has employed countless people through the manufacturing system. And there was one cat that came, and he was all nervous because he had to get back. His tether was starting to go and fritz out. He had to get it charged. And he was all panicking, and they said, hey, man, we'll get you. And this is the greatest picture I've ever seen in a manufacturing situation. And they take an extension cord, they got it plugged in the wall, and he's back working. That's an employee who says, listen, you figure out what you need and let us help get you there. And that's the transformation that we're talking about. The final transformation, before I turn it over to John L., is really where our friends from Mount Morris really come into. And that's what's caught the eye of Harvard and Michigan and Brown University. And when Harvard came in a year and a half ago and said, we've been hearing this, we read it on USA Today, we've seen these guys in Good Morning America, we want to be able to track the data. They love the fun stories, they love the testimonies, but they want data, empirical data. And so I said, let's come in. We signed an MOU, no money exchanged. You come in. You want to see this magic? You come in. And they've been tracking our data for a year and a half. And I can't disclose because Claire from the National Sheriff Association will report back to the Washington that I gave unpublished documentation. But I will tell you this, I went to Cambridge, Massachusetts, to Harvard 4 months ago, and I saw the data. And let me tell you, they have confirmed it changes jail cultures. It reduces violence in the jail, reduces recidivism. It has an economic benefit to the community, over $3,000 per person per day. So don't tell me it don't work. But our overall reading grade, I want you to pick up on this. The move is great, but look at where it started. When we started I.G.N.I.T.E, Mott Community College, and our friends in education, they want to see what the data is from a lower end. And so Mott Morris picked up that challenge and said, we're going to find out what the average math and reading grade is. If you can't do math and you can't read a menu, you're struggling. And we found in Jails America, it's between 5 and 6, 5th and 6th grade. When we started the 5th and 6th grade, but because of all the hard work of the teachers of Mott Morris and the fact that we've increased the opportunity to learn, we have raised our reading comprehension 2.56 grades. But it doesn't end there. Hold your applause. We've raised our math comprehension 3.29 grades. Can you believe that? We're now almost to high school. We got folks that are helping each other. We've got folks that on the outside would never, ever, ever say hello, but they're sitting down saying, hey, on a Chromebook, how can I help? How can I push this through? But your obligation for those here is while you're here, be that light, be that megaphone for others. You're going to be tempted. You're going to be pulled. I'm telling you, this whole success doesn't rely just on us, but it relies on you as the graduates. And you're going to hear that over and over. As the sheriff, to not only the graduates, to the cheer section, but to the family. Thank you for trusting this process. It ain't perfect, but we're getting better every day. I bring to you John L. Allen Bay.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Today is a great honor for me. About 2 weeks ago, I had the pleasure to reach out to the sheriff and say, let's bring in somebody as a keynote speaker that's a Flint native. And so I sent something out to him. He's like, oh, my God, we can't afford this guy. And I said, no, this is one of our people. This is one of our people. This is a true Flintstone. And a friend of mine, a person who I've been consciously trying to give him everything I got, because I know that, I'm getting old. It's and it's time for me to do other things. And this young man is just phenomenal. God has anointed him. He's touched his life. He wants to be an influence. He wants to be able to change the narrative of what Flint is all about. And he was locked up in Indiana. He told me this quick story. He says, when I was locked up, it was people, the baddest thing is being locked up, right? But to be locked up in not your state is really crazy, right? I mean, I can't even fathom that, right? That's just the craziest thing. And he was locked up in Indiana, and every day he rocked Flint, right? And during, they got the little jokes that they was joking about Flint and the water, and he had enough of that. And, I had to, put a little lumber out there a little bit because he loves Flint. Flint is a lot more than the water. We got resilient people. Y'all resilient. Every day, it's an honor to walk in to see that you care enough to engage in making yourself better. If you don't believe in you, nobody else will. And so I want to introduce our keynote speaker today, Leon Benson.
Hey, first and foremost, man, it's a blessing to be back home, right? To be back home in Flint, Michigan. I'm a straight up and down Flint Stone, for real. You know what I mean? Grew up on the north side of Flint. My best friend was Mike Ville. When he got out, man, he did some of the things that I'm on right now. He was helping the community, speaking out, to the kids, trying to switch up the narrative because we come from them spaces. Y'all know what spaces I'm talking about, right? Don't get it twisted. I was in there, held it down, but we got to grow despite of where we at or wherever we are planted. So one of the things that I seen, especially being from Flint, Michigan, the power of hope that we have. Did you know in 40 days, you can die from not eating? In 4 days, you can die from not drinking water. 4 minutes, yeah, you would die from not breathing. And you can really die in 4 seconds without hope, right? Now, my thing is, I used to sell dope, but now I sell hope. In this sense, right? We create the hope, right? We are the power, right? Who are you waiting on? Ain't nobody gonna come save you. Who gonna save you? Did nobody come save me? They helped me. They didn't save me. We had to start with what was going on the inside first, up here. You feel me? So, I went down, 25 years ago. I was in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I was down there doing some things I shouldn't have been doing. But I'm not a murderer, though. And I was wrongfully incarcerated for a murder. I had it hard. So when I went through a year later, I'm in solitary confinement. And I'm stuck there for a decade, looking at the wall, figuring it out, capturing my rage and honing it, right? The same thing that the world threw me as dirt, I created as stepping stones. And it reminds me of a parable that my auntie, Tiny, another Flint native, sent me, when I was angry, right? She told me the parable of the goat. A goat was out getting a sip of drink from a well, and somebody pushed him down the well. He fell down to the well, boop, knocked out. So the people around, they was waiting. They was like, is the goat coming up? He didn't come up. Guess what they did? They buried him. They started putting dirt on him. They was like, he dead. They putting dirt on him. So the goat down there at the well, he feeling the dirt. He like, oh, what's going on? And he wake up. He was too weak to yell, I'm woke. So every time the dirt fell on the goat, he started to stack it up under his hoof and step up. The dirt came down. He stacked it up under his hoof and stepped up. Then eventually he was up out the well. And what I want to convey to you brothers and you sister, y'all are the goats. Y'all the greatest of all time. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different. You are the prize. We are the prize. And what I really like about I.G.N.I.T.E and what it's doing, Swanson, what this brother doing, coming in here in the Genesee County Jail, he see your worth. He see you. So I'm with that. I'm with that 100%. Hey, the rest of that, if you ain't about that, about community, I'm not with you, right? What is community, brother? Common unity. Common unity. Community, right? Man, this is our world, our time, man. Take it upon yourself. Take it back. Take your freedom back, right? In Swahili is Uhuru Sasa. That means freedom now, right now, wherever you at. Don't think too far in the future. Don't think too far in the past. It's about that present. Be the gift. The quality of your actions in the present dictates a different perspective of the past and greater prospects of the future, right? Now that's science for you, right? That's spirituality. I love everybody religious background, but I'm spiritual. And what I tell you about a spiritual background, spirituality is for people who've been through hell. How many of you brothers and that sister right there been through hell? How many of y'all, right? Y'all done been through it. Everybody in here, right? We are united, by our experiences, man. We got so much going on that relates to each other that we need to look at that despite our differences. People want to divide because of our differences, because of a skin color, a political party, a religion. Man, stop that, man. Power to the people. Y'all are the investments. Let me ask you, brothers and sisters, some in this room right now, right? You see, I got it, I'm lowly, I'm rocking it out. With my thing, my chain, La Vie, hallelujah. You hear me? But my thing is this, right? If you had $100,000 chain, right? $100,000 chain. Any of y'all can answer this. I mean, when you take it off, where you would put it at? Where you would put your $100,000 chain at? Where you would put your chain at? Your $100,000 chain at? What type of place you would put it? What?
Jury box, something like that.
A jury box? You should put yours in the jury box. Wait, anybody else? You put yours in a safe. You put it in a safe, right? Remember, man, when we come to these environments, man, we can terraform them by what's inside of us. So are you really in a jail or are you in a safe? You in a safe, man, because you priceless. You are the jury, right? We Flintstones, right? Are we just rocks? No. See, you was put in a safe, man, a pressure safe, right? You came in here a dirty coal. Flintstone, you was a dirty coal. You just was a rock on the side of a curve, so to speak. But when you sat in here and you put your mind together, right, and you start to work and do your thing, you look like a diamond to me, right? Y'all look like diamonds to me, right? Y'all shining. Now, the thing about being a diamond, the coal put in the work to become a diamond. That's what y'all did, right where you was at. If not now, when? When is right now, right? This is my time, your time. This is our time, man. Get on that time. Let somebody have that other time where they complaining about it, where they want to point the finger at somebody else, right? That didn't get me out of prison. I've been solitary for 10 years, bro. I'm that. Everything you can think of, bro. I'm that. But we got to keep growing. I'm like, man, is this really a jail cell? No, it's a university, right? We terraform that thing, right? And when we look at Flint, Michigan, man, when I see the water crisis and everything that's happening to my hometown, everything going down, people want to badmouth the city, want to badmouth Detroit, Michigan. What? Come on, man. You can't do that, man. I love my people. But the same thing that you're doing now in this little corner, it's the same thing that you can do in your community, right? We got to be the change that we want to see in the world. Ain't nobody coming to save you. Please save yourselves. We got to save each other. And what I mean by that, we need to engage each other and see each other for who we are. We are spiritual beings on a human journey. The thing about it, man, it's like money in the bank. You can have money in the bank and don't know it. You rich beyond imagination. All you brothers and sisters in here, everybody that's in here, rich, wealthy. But if you don't know you got that money in the bank, you complaining about something. You doing something that you walking in a circle. You doing an R2-D2 rock'em sock'em robot, right? And I'm saying this, man, as an entrepreneur, right? As a boss of my life. First, you got to be a boss of your life. I don't want to hear that boss talk. You a boss? What you did lately? You don't even do your push-ups. You ain't even eating right. Oh, you going to the studio, huh? Where your last song at? Right? So the first place to be a boss, to be God body, to be that image of the Most High, of the Creator, of whatever denomination of religion you at, it's one Creator. One. And we got to recognize that oneness in ourselves. Hey, if y'all could one time for me, one time, can I get y'all to just inhale for me? Like, can y'all do that? Can y'all exhale for me? One more time. Exhale. See, we all breathe the same air, didn't we? Huh? We got that same holy breath off in us. Right? So my biggest message to y'all, I know I overcame a lot. I have a story, but I didn't come here for me. I came here for you. Because you brothers and sisters, when people in here that's doing this are doing a great thing, you are the gold. You the gold, man, that the Creator one day, the gold and the diamonds, the Creator gonna put on their neck. Right? You feel me? That's what you are. Right? You can't let nobody tell you anything different. The hardest fight in this world is the fight of being made to be somebody else who you ain't. You are not your DOC number. You are not your zip code. Okay, yeah, we Flintstones, but you bigger than that. You bigger than that. You bigger than Michigan. You bigger than this world. But you got to know that, and you got to put it down wherever you at. And what I want you to leave away from here is, hope is real. Hope ain't waited for. It is made. Right? Change is inevitable, but growth is a choice. And for me to see y'all sitting right there, I know y'all chose growth. Y'all are choosers. Not losers, but choosers. Right? So remember this too. Just like that goat, because y'all goats, we the greatest of all time. You find your treasure where you fall. So even though you was in the well or sand, right? You found your treasure where you was at. And that's what it's all about. Know that you the prize. And when you can see that prize within yourself, you can see it in other people. Continue to do that, right? On that note, I want to leave, but I want to thank y'all for having me because you so precious. Thank you.
I can see why he didn't take pay, because he's going to get about 10 gigs just from this. This was good marketing, Dr. Crane. Robertson over there just whispered to Rose, we need to get him on the rest of the floors. And you spoke truth into all of us. I mean, how many people thought, hey, I'm going to use that one? I know you did. Don't lie. Otherwise, you might have been fell asleep or get the medics to check a pulse. But there's some truth to that. Man. So I just want to say thank you, brother, for pouring back in. There's a lot of folks that remember where they were and they don't go back to address it. But you remember and you came back. That tells what kind of character you have. 10 years in solitary is no joke. And you're a megaphone, man. I appreciate it. Wow. I will tell you that our federal partners that got us to where we are, that are the ones that facilitated the funding of I.G.N.I.T.E, we existed for 2 years without a single dime. I didn't ask the county board for any money. I still to this day have not had a single dollar that the county has given us for I.G.N.I.T.E. We've done it with the work and the team that we've had. But last year, we were able to get some federal funds, and some of those federal funds, they help support and fund John L. and Percy's position. Full-time employees, one with 29 years, one with 12 years. You got Danny right here. Let me just say this. You don't need a time to get a testimony. You have a testimony. Just share it like Leon shared with us. And what's going to happen is it's going to catch the attention of people like the feds, like my man Russ Davis over there from the Department of Labor in Washington. He's been with us for 2 years. He does our MC3 apprentice training. And you're going to see that we build people out here to go to the next level, to go to trades, to be in a good, solid profession that they never had. So Russ, to all those that help support and fund this, thank you so much. Now we get to do some recognition. And that's you. We have 3 types of graduates. But the final graduate is the one I really want you to wait for and focus on. Even for those that are given the Serve Safe graduations and the welding certificates, we have recognition on our final graduate that really is going to touch the hearts of everybody here, myself included. But before we get to that point, I'd like to welcome our friends from Mott Community College to recognize our welding class, our second graduating class that have taken their welding, building trades. Tristin and all the Mott community team, please come on up. He's a great speaker too. There's your certifications. Actually, you can read them and then I'll hand them out. So there you go. He's got a great radio voice too. Check this out.
Good morning.
Told you. Told you.
All right. So you want to read these now?
I would love for you to tell them what your
Okay.
class is, how long it takes, and where they can go from here.
So we do virtual welding technology. We go over the fundamental parameters.
Smooth to the ear, but I tell you, you're
Yeah.
like, I want you to do my voicemail. Sorry.
Okay. So to be honest, when I first came in here and got the job, I didn't know what to expect. A lot of my friends and colleagues were like, they're gonna tear you up. But coming in here, these guys are incredibly kind, incredibly eager to learn. Um, I had one student ace my final exam. I was not expecting that at all. I had several students tell me, we went through the entire textbook, and they'll show me journals of, half a journal filled up with notes. So we go over the, techniques of welding technology, GMAW, mostly short circuit, a little bit of spray transfer, pulse transfer, but it's about getting you ready for, maybe an entry-level welding class or maybe even an entry-level welding job. Gives you a foot ahead of maybe other students who've never even touched a welder. So these guys have been incredible to work with, and I hope to see them out there, whether at the college or even on the job site. So thank you.
All right, we're gonna change the order up because you gotta recognize the valedictorian.
That exam is hard too.
Yeah,
It's not easy.
it sounds like you take pride in that.
I do.
I couldn't stand teachers like you. Yeah, that's why I work for the government. Yeah, hold on here.
It's open book though.
Oh, okay, good. There we go. Pull that one out. I'll let you just start with that one.
All right, Adrian Washington.
Oh, good job, man. Good job. Chevelle Briggs. Marquand Cox. Rory Gillespie. Joshua Hill. Oh, he's got it right there. Yamel Jackson. Anthony Lewis. Congrats. Calvin Robinson. Congratulations, man. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your class of number 21, welding certification, virtual welding through Mott Community College. Great job. And before Tristin goes, I want to say thank you to Dr. Beverly, who's the president of Mott Community College, and all the command staff, all the leadership of Mott. You know, putting square pegs in square holes works when it's convenient. But you took a square peg and a round hole, and because you all gave each other a chance, you guys made a good fit. Because I think that is a lesson, Leon, of unity, that you don't always have to be like this in order to bring people together. So thank you for your service, and I appreciate it. To the next class. The next I'm going to bring up is our friends from Aramark and our Serve Safe program. We've got 2 graduates, and when you realize how much goes into this recognition and this course, it probably is going to impress you. So give it up for Aramark.
How you doing, everybody? I'm Eric Wagner. I'm the food service director. I've been only within the county for about a couple months now, so this is my first opportunity to run a program. It's about a roughly 7-week-long program. I'm very excited for the couple of graduates that I've been able to help hopefully mentor for some great skills in their life moving forward. And very proud of you guys, and hopefully you guys can take a lot from these classes moving forward. Within the program, they were able to earn some certificates for kitchen basics and or 2 different levels of Serve Safe, one being a food safety certificate or a manager's level for food safety as well. So.
Isn't that beautiful? What's that?
I back him on that piece of it. Yeah, it is a tough program to go through. It is a long program. We offer it throughout the entire country. It's always good to see us give back to something to you guys where you can go out and use that certificate and work at any restaurant or be that chef or open up your own restaurant. So yes, thank you.
Well, I want people to pay attention when you go to restaurants and look on the walls, because you're going to see Serve Safe certifications that are posted on restaurants throughout America. And this program is laborious. It's one that takes a long time to get through. There's a test at the end, and the Aramark team helps study and push through. And so I just want to say our first graduate is going to be, not you yet, because yours is a story. 1 second. Binocro Thetford. And we have a surprise for you.
Yeah, okay.
You get to say a word.
Okay.
What it means to you and why you're in this. Look at this outfit, look at the hat. Before you get your certification, man, give us a word.
I just like to give all my condolences to the staff, the supervisors, Eric, John, Swanson. You know, just show y'all I appreciate everything, and I'm gonna take it one step further. Thank you very much.
There you go, man. This next graduate, we went on a search for, because we wanted to give our female population opportunities, but we needed somebody to kind of pave the way. And so we met with Miss Curry and Rose and Robertson and Mercer and the team. They figured that she would have the best opportunity to go and not only succeed, but also be that voice. And we let the National Sheriff Association know we found somebody. And I want you to know that her story is going to be used for national publications throughout the country, because they've been following your journey and your testimony. And I'd love to give recognition to Ilona Curry for her Serve Safe graduation.
I'd just like to thank the Genesee County Jail and specifically Sheriff Swanson for this opportunity to participate in the Into Work program and the Serve Safe certification. It is a national certification that I can take out into the world and go anywhere in the country and work. I also hope to have paved the way for the women's pod to be able to participate in not only the kitchen program, but other Into Work programs, because I think it's very important to make sure that our women are supported and that they're educated so that they can be strong members of our community when they're released.
So our final recognition, if I could have Superintendent Kujat come up here. This is the first time that we've had, where's our certificate? Where's our cert?
Mr. Assistant,
Oh, there you go.
we're gonna tag team.
Got it. There you go. I just want to see the certification real quick. Before I do this, I want to say that Jesse Gardner is a special person. He's a special person because he's not here. And before I get to the reason why he's not here and what we're going to do to address that, so leave that surprise to me, I'm going to allow you to explain what goes into the GED program, what your investment is as a school to this community here in 1002 South Saginaw Street, and then we're going to recognize Jesse and his accomplishments as a GED.
So yes, we've had the honor of being part of the jail program since 2004. Under Sheriff's direction, though, we've really expanded what we've been able to do. And so our students work through their coursework at their own pace, so they can get it as quickly or as slowly as they need to go. But when they walk out of here, they are able to get their GED, which, as you know, will help set them up for a bright future. So we're very proud to be a part of this.
Thank you. And before I bring up the recognition, Mr. Basista knows the story. You know, in jails in America, Sheriff, you know this true, 10% of our population go to prison. The other 90% go to the streets. But not everybody goes to prison, stays in prison. You just saw that from Leon's case. Our recognition and our service, it's irrelevant where your future takes you. And when you achieve something and we partner with the wraparound service, you have the gift of continuing it beyond this. And that's what we're doing. A GED sometimes is that single spark that it takes for somebody to say, you know what, I'm going to use that to go get my 2-year degree, my 4-year degree. And so although Jesse's not here, I've asked his mother to accept on his behalf his GED. So would you welcome Miss Stacy Gardner?
Everyone. Thank you so much.
You get to walk the line of congratulations. This is what you love to do. I can already tell that you love the attention. Would you comment on why this is a big deal and to have somebody represent?
The efforts and work for education is so valuable, no matter the direction, the time it takes, or where it's leading you in life. And Jesse had the opportunity on September 6th to change that trajectory and path. It's almost like the clouds opened up for that opportunity when he's able to pursue that. That GED is that next step. It's that barrier that has just been eliminated that was placed in front of. And the earning of a GED is a piece of education that will never be stripped away, something that can never be taken away, and it is something to be proud of for that movement forward and that growth mindset of opportunity for what's to come. And these opportunities are what it's all about. The education, the movement forward, and opportunity to better the direction you're heading. And it is a fabulous just accomplishment. And as a mother, you know, the pride you've got to feel is tremendous.
Last time I talked to him, he called from here and told me he passed.
Nice.
Very happy. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we want those opportunities. We love seeing those opportunities. And this is the first one of this 23-24 school year. And in every hope and opportunity to see each and every opportunity come forth to earn those credentials is what we want to celebrate, what we want to see, and what we want to recognize, because those are the efforts that make the change. Those are the efforts that create, well, everything we see today and movement. So thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here and representing Jesse.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you so much. Thank you. We are almost done. My time is done here, but I'm going to have closing comments by Danny Hourani from the National Sheriff Association, as well as our exit comments from Sheriff Carpenter from Iron County. So Porter, hang tight. We're almost done, man. Rodney Porter. And Danny's got a great story as to what happened in his life. So our guests can sit down for a quick second. We're almost done. Please welcome to this podium, Danny Hourani.
How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for having me. It is always my honor to sit up here in front of such extraordinary people. I am honored to be over here. Of course, as always, the sheriff never tells me when I'm going to speak, but I always do expect to speak. But today seems like a destined day because I can literally pick off of what everybody has spoken about today. First off, I'd like to address one thing. My name is Danny Hourani. I am the Director for Community Development for Team Wellness Center, and I am also a board member for the National Sheriff's Association, which is ironic and amazing and astonishing and very proud of, because 2.5 years ago I was serving a mandatory life sentence inside of a federal prison for a crime committed as a teenager for a conspiracy. The sheriff made a mention about it's amazing today. So the sheriff gets to talk about I.G.N.I.T.E on the Genesee level, but since I'm on the national board, I get to talk about the national level. So I'm about to amaze you a little bit more. The sheriff said it's amazing that a Democratic sheriff and a Republican sheriff were here today. I find that amazing because honestly, there's no such thing as politics when it comes to law enforcement. Every one of these officers over here and the sheriff And this sheriff would protect you, defend you, and ensure your safety, whether you were a Democrat, a Republican, or just hated politics in general. They are definitely not a partisan politics. But when it comes to I.G.N.I.T E, I'm going to show you how I.G.N.I.T E, since we do live in a political world, how I.G.N.I.T E helps both sides. From let's say, a view of one side, I.G.N.I.T E helps you to ensure that you never return to prison because it's going to educate you. And it's already been empirically proven that education reduces recidivism. Okay, so from that side, you can say that. From another side, you can say that I.G.N.I.T E is a law enforcement tool. And why do we say that? Listen, I've done time. I know for certain that individuals releasing home back to the community that are educated return as better citizens. But at the same time, I also know that individuals going to either the Department of Corrections or the Federal Bureau of Prisons who arrive there with a program mentality are going to be a much more better inmate for that staff. It's much better for you guys to go there to the DOC or the federal prison as an individual who is looking to program rather to do something bad. So if you're educating yourself here, when you get there, the first thing you're going to ask them is, hey, what programs do you have? Not where can I get a shank? And that's important. When it comes to, when it comes to what has I.G.N.I.T E accomplished, I.G.N.I.T E is in almost 20 counties nationwide. 20 counties. It started here in Genesee County. The sheriff said there's 200 and some thousand hours over here in Genesee County. Well, there's almost 600,000 hours of programming throughout the country. Almost 600 people have gotten their GEDs through I.G.N.I.T E. It is in 15 different states. Just think about that. It started here in Genesee County. Our amazing speaker right here, he talked about failing and falling. Let me tell you something. Anytime I come here, I know the sheriff's going to make me talk, so I do a quote of the day. And of course, what is today's quote of the day? One fails forward towards success. So when you guys fell, you guys are falling forward towards success. Let me tell you something right now. Amazing. 2 weeks ago, I drove 7.5 hours back to Greenville, Illinois, which is in southern Illinois. John L. talked about doing time. I did time at federal prison, so it was never, ever in Michigan. It was always out of state. 2.5 years ago, I walked out of that same prison in khakis. I walked back in that same visiting room my family used to visit me at the invitation of the warden in a suit to talk to the guys and give a presentation. I was honored to come in there. I have friends who also have been incarcerated that told me, man, I'm not walking back in there. I don't know how you did that. I told them I walked out of there I walked back in there like I walked out of there, like I owned it. In 27.5 years, I got my degree from Indiana State University, and it was my education that allowed my freedom. That's what freed me. My judge granted me compassionate release because of my educational accomplishments and also for the people that I helped educate. So you guys need to understand that your success leads, and here's the best part, and this is why I love today. His mother getting his GED is the perfect segue to this truth. Every time you do time, your family does it with you. Your family does every day with you. So her accepting that is exactly where it needed to go. We are honored. I am honored to stand here amongst you guys. It is a pleasure. It is a privilege to see people who are investing in themselves. I used to talk at the prison and tell people I am here to convince you to do something you should want to do anyways, which is invest in yourself today like you're going home tomorrow. I had a life sentence and all I did was educate myself. A life sentence in federal prison is they put you in a box and they mail you home to your family. But I never believed that for one moment because I had what they call irrational hope. I never thought I was going to die in prison, and goddamn it, I was right. And so here I am today. I am honored to call this sheriff my friend, and I am honored to be here amongst you guys.
Hey, thank you so much for allowing me to be with you today. And Sheriff Swanson, thank you. I'm very grateful to be able to be here. I'll tell you, I drove through Detroit on my way to officers candidates, or actually to officers candidate school back in 1988, and it's the only time that I'd been here, just passing through on the freeway. I had no idea what to expect.
that I've found nothing but love and friendship. And I feel like I'm among a new family. I also feel like I've been through a revival today. You know, but you know, as I've been listening to everyone that has spoken today, I've been thinking about what I could say that would be value added. And I'd like to share just a couple of comments. First, I'd like to share a story with you. Back in 1994, I was a guard officer for the Marine Corps Security Force Company in London, England. And I had a young man there, a private first class, named Dai Tran. Dai was Vietnamese. And when he was 10 years old, his family was evacuated from Saigon by the United States Marine Corps. And because of that, he always wanted to be a Marine. He enlisted in the Marine Corps, went through boot camp, went through infantry school, and came to the Marine Corps Security Force Company. And one night I was in my office working on my SOP, and he came in and he said, "Sir, may I speak with you?" "Yeah, absolutely, Dai. What's going on?" "Sir, I hate it here." "What? How can you hate London? You know, every Marine in the Marine Corps would love to be here. We're making more money with our overseas housing allowance and everything else that we get. We have more opportunities. We've got so many things we get to do. How could you possibly hate it here?" Well, as I talked to Dai, I realized that he had no rudder in his life. He had no dreams that he was living for. He had no goals that he'd ever set. He was just drifting. So we began talking about the importance of having goals. How we need to have long-term goals, long-range goals. That's where we want to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. We need to have mid-range goals that are going to help us achieve those long-range goals. And we have to have short-term goals that are going to help us get to those mid-range and finally to those long-range goals. Without that, we can't ever achieve anything. We're just going to drift. We're just going to go whatever direction the wind is blowing. So I told Dai, I says, "All right, Dai, I want you to go back. I want you to think about what your goals are going to be. I want you to write them down and bring them back to me in 3 days, because a goal that's not written is what? It's only a wish." We have to have our goals written so we can see them every day and remind ourselves what it is that we're working toward. So 3 days later, Dai comes running up to me. He's excited. "Hey, sir, here's my goals. I want to be a meritorious corporal. I want to be a meritorious sergeant, and I want to receive a commission in the Marine Corps." There's a part of me that wanted to say, "You're the worst Marine I got. That's never going to happen." But we talked about goals, and I couldn't say that to him. "Dai, those are great goals. Let's see what you can do with them." A year later, it's my honor to meritoriously promote Dai Tran to the rank of corporal. Shortly after that, we sent him back to Camp Lejeune in North Carolina to a Victor unit. Victor unit is a unit that's getting ready to deploy. But before he deployed, he went on what was called the Super Squad competition. And he performed so well on the Super Squad that once his squad was knocked out, he was elevated up to a different squad that lost a member. He participated on Super Squad, and then he deployed with his unit. He went to Liberia when the embassy was under siege. He received a Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal for his action in Liberia. On his way home, there was trouble in Haiti. His unit was taken off to Haiti, and he received a second Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal for his actions in Haiti. He got back to Camp Lejeune, and he was meritoriously promoted to the rank of sergeant at the division board. Shortly after that, I rotated back to the States. I was up at headquarters, Marine Corps. He was now in Quantico, just down the road. One day he called me up and he said, "Sir, what are you doing this afternoon?" "Nothing much. Dai, what's going on?" Can you come down and pin my second lieutenant bars on me? I'm receiving my commission today. That was my honor. My honor to pin my old second lieutenant bars on Second Lieutenant Ditran. He went off to Okinawa, became a captain in the Marine Corps. Shortly after, he called me and said, "Sir," he says, "I'm getting out of the Corps. I'm going into the DEA." And the last time I heard from him, he was down in South America on Operation Snowcap, trying to protect our country still. I don't have to worry about Ditran because he figured it out. He figured out that he could make his dreams come true if he set goals for himself and stuck to those goals. And just because we may fall short once in a while, it doesn't mean that we failed. It means that we realign our goals, set a more realistic time frame, and go after it again. We go after it again, and we go after it again until we achieve what it is that we want to achieve. Each one of you is an example of that today. Look at what you've achieved. What a great honor. But this is only the beginning. Louis L'Amour. Does anybody besides me know who Louis L'Amour is here? All right. You belong in southern Utah. Hey, Louis L'Amour writes Westerns, right? So being from the West, I read a lot of Westerns. But Louis L'Amour says, all education is self-education. He goes on to explain that it doesn't matter how great of a teacher one has, how much information and knowledge that teacher has, that if we aren't prepared to accept that and receive that information ourselves and learn it ourselves, then that teacher can be of no value to us. We have to be receptive. We have to be willing to educate ourselves. Each one of you have done that today and have been recognized for that today. So congratulations to each one of you. I'll tell you, thank you, Sheriff Swanson. I'm excited to take I.G.N.I.T.E back to Utah. And I know that it's going to make a big difference in our community. I want to just leave one last thing with you. Last night we walked into Churchill's down the street for dinner, and up on the wall was this quote: "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." We need to serve one another. If you want to be truly happy in life, find ways to serve one another. When we serve one another, we learn to love one another. We learn to care about one another. Thank you so much for having me. Congratulations to each one of you. Sheriff, thank you. Thank you to all your staff. We feel right at home with you. Thanks.
Have a beautiful day. We got some reunification going on to all our friends. I hope to change your life, Dr. Craig.